Socrates on trial. The full story. The trial of Socrates in 399 BCE is one of the most famous and debated events in ancient history. The philosopher was charged by his fellow citizens in Athens and ultimately sentenced to death, an outcome that has puzzled historians and philosophers for centuries. The primary sources for the trial are the accounts of his students, Plato and Xenophon, particularly Plato's Apology, which presents Socrates' defense speech. The charges: Socrates was formally accused of 2 crimes, 1. Impiety, asabeia. This charge had 2 parts. First, he was accused of not believing in the gods recognized by the state. Second, he was charged with introducing new, unfamiliar divinities, daimonia. 2. Corrupting the youth. His accusers claimed that Socrates' teachings led young men away from traditional Athenian values, making them disrespectful of their parents and societal institutions. The accusers were a group of citizens, including Meletus, a poet, Anytus, a democratic politician, and Lyco, a rhetorician. Historical and political context. To understand the verdict, it's crucial to consider the political climate of Athens at the time. The trial took place just a few years after Athens had been defeated by Sparta in the devastating Peloponnesian War, 431 to 404 BCE. The defeat led to the installation of a brutal pro-Spartan oligarchy known as the 30 Tyrants, who ruled for about a year before the democracy was restored. Many Athenians blamed the city's misfortunes on a perceived decline in traditional values and a rise in anti-democratic sentiment. Socrates' association with prominent figures of the oligarchy, such as Critias and Charmides, both former students, made him a convenient scapegoat. While he had not actively supported the tyrants, his public questioning of democratic principles and his elitist views made him a figure of suspicion to a city seeking to reaffirm its democratic identity. The trial and verdict. The trial was held before a jury of 500 Athenian male citizens, chosen by lot. In ancient Athenian legal proceedings, there was no public prosecutor, and any citizen could bring charges. The prosecution and the defense each had a set amount of time, measured by a water clock, to present their arguments. Socrates' defense, as recounted by Plato, was not a plea for mercy. He famously compared himself to a gadfly stinging a lazy horse, the Athenian state, to wake it from its slumber. He argued that his mission was divinely inspired, to question people and expose their ignorance for the good of the city. He refused to renounce his philosophical practice, stating he would continue to philosophize even if it meant his death. The jury found him guilty by a narrow margin. After the conviction, Athenian law allowed both the accuser and the defendant to propose a penalty. The accusers proposed death. Socrates, in an act of defiance, first suggested a mock penalty of free meals for life in the Prytaneum, a great honor usually reserved for war heroes. He then reluctantly proposed a small fine, which was seen as a further insult by the jurors. Unsurprisingly, they voted for the death penalty, this time by a wider margin. Socrates was sentenced to die by drinking hemlock. Socrates' final days, in his final moments, as depicted in Plato's Crito and Phaedo, Socrates remained steadfast in his principles. He refused a chance to escape from prison, arguing that to do so would be a violation of the laws of Athens, which he had always lived under and respected. He peacefully drank the hemlock and died, maintaining his philosophical integrity to the end. The trial of Socrates has since become a symbol of the conflict between an individual's freedom of thought and the power of the state. It raises profound questions about justice, the limits of democracy, and the role of the philosopher in society.